they're here to dominate DK. Thankfully, we don't have Chronicler here today, so we won't be able to see his depression if DK does lose, but I'll be right here, don't you worry. I'm ready to get depressed.
I'm sure he's at home having a great time, a day off. He's definitely not curled up in a blanket, just rocking back and forth, stressed out over the outcome of this match.
Yep. Well, Talia going to be banned away first here. As you can see, Mel still going to be banned. That bug is something that will be fixed in the next patch, but will be sticking around for this one. Aurora going to be taken away here as BNK. They want to first pick Gwen, everyone.
Yep. A little bit telegraphed with that one coming out, so we'll see if the response comes through. Right now, though, Varus and Vi still open and available. Dplus, pressure kind of on them. I feel like for BNK FEARX, you could probably take one of them away, maybe the Vi, and then pressure's on Dplus to ban either Gwen or Varus, and you can take the other one.
I think maybe you just leave everything up as DK, though, because they might be able to get Gwen Varus after an Azir first pick, for example.
Yeah.
Because Vicla's champion pool has been a little bit skewed towards, I need to play this champion.
True.
If we're going to get victories as the Ambessa ban comes in. I mean, yeah, ban Amumu.
This is the most Gwen first pick I've ever seen. They're really targeting Shiwu's pool heavily here, and a lot of the picks that do well into it. So now...
maybe they're also trying to make Shiwu play Red Side Rumble.
Red Side Rumble, you know, they're setting up for it.
That's so cruel. Poppy is going to be taken away here. So it is along sort of my train of thought. But yeah, that Gwen first pick is looking like it could be coming in. But the thing is, like, I do think that Azir is better for BNK, but we'll just have to see what they decide.
Alternatively, you don't pick the Gwen, you let them take Gwen, and you get the blue side Rumble.
Oh, there we go. And actually, you just checkmate them, right? Because they can't pick the Rumble into Gwen, but you can.
Yep.
Oh, it's beautiful. Well, Azir is going to be locked in.
If anyone who missed yesterday when it was brought up extensively, you know, Freak had a video on Rumble.
Yep.
He does less damage on red side. It's a significant difference. And we're going to bring it up every time we see Rumble on red side. And even apparently...
I didn't know it was that significant.
Yeah, it's crazy apparently.
Wow. Like, I thought it was just delayed by like 0.25 seconds or something like that and then just starts ticking. So maybe you lost a tick. But is it worse than that?
I don't know the exact ins and outs.
Because I haven't watched... I have to admit, I haven't watched
the full video.
I'm sorry, David.
Yeah. You know, I haven't watched the full video. All I know is that it's significant enough to have a massive difference in win rate.
That's nutty.
Yeah, because obviously it's his ult and his Q. Oh. But Varus Vi coming through is a pretty big pickup here.
Yeah, the VV from the PVV.
Yeah, only the P was banned, so the double VV, pretty promising. That being said, I feel like the Azir into the Vi feels pretty good. Oh, they're going for the red side Rumble.
Oh, no. Wait. Why?
Yeah. Maybe thinking, well, I guess not aware of the red side Rumble, but also thinking that now they can't pick the Gwen into it. BNK FEARX, though, will just pick the Gwen.
Yeah, they'll just obviously pick the Gwen. You can pick Trundle Gwen if you'd like to.
Yeah, that's an option.
But I think the Gwen is definitely happening, and then they can have a little bit of consideration.
I wonder if they want to secure anything else, though. I mean, obviously, a lot of junglers already banned, 3 jungle bans from Dplus, so I think maybe if you want to secure jungle now, it would be the pickup. Yep.
And with Trundle being left open, as well as the Vi, there's certainly quite a few options here. Of course, I think Lucid would be okay to play the Vi into it. Xin is also left available, kind of crazy.
The double circles.
There's quite a few viable junglers at the moment.
Yeah.
And that is just Showmaker playing Yone. Alrighty.
To the Azir, yeah. So going for that matchup, a lot of lockdown, a lot of teamfight potential. One thing I'm a little bit concerned about is this Varus, you know, as well. I feel like there's a lot of problems for the Azir in this game. The Varus we've seen whenever it's shown up been pretty potent, and now Dplus have the opportunity to ban away 80 carries that can do well into it. I feel like a lot of teams have been picking Sivir into the Varus. Hasn't always gone super swimmingly in the early game. Jhin also been popular into the Varus, so could see those two taken away.
Yeah, I think Sivir Jhin is probably pretty comfortable here. Aim to get your hands on something like an Alistar 4th pick, and then maybe pick something crazy for Lucid. It's probably just going to be the rest of the junglers being taken away here. Vi is definitely going to be banned, so likely to see that here.
The problem is, you know, you might want to ban Vi, but also you got to worry about, I mean, they're banning Maokai, but you got to think about things like Alistar, things like Rakan.
True.
So I think there's a lot for BNK FEARX to try and limit, and not really much opportunity to limit the options for Dplus. So a lot of pressure on right now.
I feel like BNK were kind of handed the draft, though. After the first 2 picks for DK, I was like, wow, that's weird.
I mean, it's the Red Side Rumble, so, you know.
Yeah. Opting in for the Red Side Rumble as well is just absolute crazy talk. As there is that Jhin. We knew exactly what they were going to be banning away because it was pretty obvious. And let's see. BNK want to ban about 6 things at this point. We'll see which one they're going to hit when they spin the wheel.
Yeah. I think... I mean, they've gone with the initial jungle, but I wouldn't really want to give over Alistar, but they will just do so, I guess. They go for the Vi ban. In terms of jungle picks, I guess you could even go like a Sejuani if you want, although it's pretty low in terms of prio.
I think Sejuani actually works pretty well with both of their solo lanes right now.
Could just go the Trundle into the Xin, though. That's also an option.
True. Or you could just pick Alistar and then wait until later. I know that teams really do like the support counter pick, but instead, it will be the Sejuani, and with the Xin already locked in, like, you can't put Trundle somewhere else unless you're going to run support Trundle, like, back in, like, 4 years ago.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that. So, yeah, Sejuani comes through. They now leave the counter pick for the support.
Wait, was it 4 years? It was probably like 8 years ago that we had support Trundle.
It was a while.
The place. It's been a long time. Anyway, Lucian Braum. A possible look in here for BNK. Does mean that they don't have any engage at all, so that's likely not going to be the choice.
I mean, the Braum gets a lot of value just with a lot of people who can stack the passive, basically everyone, but it's going to be a rough lane, I feel like, with the amount of poke, and you can also... Dplus could go something like the Nico support, and then you have a lot of harass in the bot lane for Dplus that would really be threatening, so...
Yeah, it sounds a little bit dangerous here. Beryl with his hand on the counter pick when a Braum is sort of locked in face up is a scary thing to stare down, and let's see.
I think Rakan or Nico both fine here. Nico's more pressure in lane, a lot of harass power. I think the Rakan is going to be really hard to check in team fights. There's not that much CC that can immediately lock him down. The only thing you're really threatened by is the Azir ult. Everything else needs to stack up. Actually, look at the Alistar, though. I mean, Alistar's super high prio, very tanky, but I do feel like into the Braum specifically, it's not as free of a matchup, but it does give you a very bulky front line. But I feel like there's so many auto-attackers, there's so much shred on BNK FEARX. You know, I don't think I would have personally gone for the Alistar, but I can understand the reasoning behind it.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't feel like the checkmate that maybe a Nico would have felt like in that scenario. But Beryl does do some pretty amazing things on the Alistar. Also, runs it down sometimes. As we've seen, I believe last week, didn't exactly have the greatest performance on the Alistar. But I think, you know, especially all of the old heads out there, they remember that Beryl was very good at this champion. Played it at Worlds 2019. Gorgeous times. That was a long time ago, though, so let's see whether he could step up to the plate here, up against Kellen. Kellen, of course, looking for 5 assists in this game. And I think, as a Braum, you're pretty good at getting assists. So I think he might get there, if this is going to be a bloody one. I don't expect it to be slow, because it's BNK and it's DK. These guys, they just tend to like fighting. As far as the brain-to-hand scale, it's a lot more hands on the Rift here today, and that's what we like to see. It's more excitement.
A lot of culture.
Oh yes, it is a cultural phenomenon that we are going to be watching here. As we can see, also excellent Braum skin choice as well, looking absolutely phenomenal in those overalls. And I'm a little worried. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little worried about this Red Side Rumble. If he does 0 damage all game, Freak told you so. All right, Dplus Gear fans are going ballistic here at Lol Park. That is a lot of cheering. Let's see whether BNK can overcome it. Use some of that power for themselves. It feels like a very stable draft. Doesn't have a lot of range. I feel like the Varus can have a really good time here for DK. Outside of that, though, everyone's melee on DK's side. So if aiming is mispositioned almost at all, ever, BNK can just run away with this game.
My actual concern for the Dplus draft is that when it comes to team fights, you know, your long-range option is aiming, but I actually think this is a composition where aiming deceptively has a lot of struggles getting his damage off because you have the Braum shield that blocks. Yeah. You have the Gwen and the Xin Zhao who have ways of actually just not taking damage. and the rest of your team kind of has to close the distance, has to be up close to deal damage, and they're playing into a Braum and 4 high DPS auto attackers. So I actually think BNK FEARX might just mangle anyone on Dplus who steps up, and in the meantime, Aiming's trying to get his damage off, and it's getting blocked or negated. So I actually think as long as Dplus don't get a big lead, BNK FEARX might actually find favor when we get to those 5v5s.
Well, they're already finding some favor here in this lane, as we can see. Diablo just needs one double tap, and that's going to get the heal out from Beryl. Already drawing summoner spells. As this Alistar level 1, just, yeah, we know what Alistar level 1 does.
Yeah, especially in the
not very much.
Lucian, not having a good time. Aiming getting some poke back, but not really achieving too much. Have to respect the Lucian level 2. That may well come in the second.
Yeah, it does mean that Aiming misses out on quite a bit of farm. Of course, was our Gold King last week as well. Diablo going to just barrier for the fun of it, I guess, as he got a little bit too close to the turret.
Yep, keeps his health high. And, you know, you don't feel too bad about it because Aiming has cleanse, so he doesn't have that extra effective HP in return. Harass really coming down, bit of healing from Beryl's passive. Remember, we did have Alistar getting his armor nerfed quite significantly on this patch. So situations like this where you're getting bullied in lane, you are feeling the hurt that much more in the early levels.
See whether they can overcome it. As Diablo and Kellen just moving into the enemy jungle. You can see Lucid was aiming for this Gromp, and a lot of vision already picked up. Just the blue buff going to be taken here by Raptor. As Lucid not going to have a whole lot of staying power here in this early game on this Sejuani. Not necessarily known as your ability to bully things out. As, oh dear, Lucid looking to come on over and smite this away, but it goes into the brush. Raptor really nicely played. As Aiming going to be cleansing pretty early. Double pole comes on in there from Beryl, but then he has to flash. Lucid's coming on over, looking to try and get something done, but Raptor comes in, Wind becomes lightning, and Beryl, I don't think he's going to be able to help the Sejuani here. And with that Winter's Bite landing, Kellen really managing to keep his aim up with that one, as Aiming does manage to get that cannon. Definitely good. But still, the amount of pressure here for BNK is gigantic, and I think that this Braum has so much to do with it.
I'm just loving how well they're playing as a trio from BNK FEARX, how the pressure from the bot lane leads into that invade from Raptor. It's not an overstep, he doesn't actually go on to Lucid, but he steals away the blue. When he sees him move over, he pulls back, gets it into the brush, and then the bot lane continuing that pressure, and then the return favor from Raptor, making sure that Lucid can't intervene in the 2v2. It just feels like that back and forth, constant pressure, but at no point does anyone overstep.
Yeah.
You know, that's definitely a moment where if someone went too far, they could have been punished, but it was that balance, that back and forth that just kept the pressure alive. Now we have a lead for Raptor in the jungle, and they managed to burn another summoner from the bot lane for Dplus. I will say, though, Aiming has managed to keep up and farm pretty well, despite everything.
Yep, going to be wandering back to lane now as well. As we can see, Azir is actually on a very long losing streak. 7 losses in a row. You had to quiz me about that one. If that was Dagon's fact of the week, I think I would have said, no, it's someone else that's on a loss streak like that.
Okay, in fairness, a lot of the players picking the Azir, you know, we saw some games from Nongshim, some games from DNF, some other teams aren't doing as well. That does also, there's the caveat that, okay, well, if our weaker teams are prioritizing it, what does that say? But I feel like our stronger, like, you're not going to let Faker or Chovy get Azir, is what I'm saying.
Oh, they're looking for Beryl. They'll find him there as well. Wind becomes lightning, but a headbutt to get out of the way. Still, it's first blood that goes over to Raptor. And playing around this bottom lane has been the aim of the game, and they have succeeded.
Yeah, punishing that lack of flash on Beryl, finding the angle with the concussive blows. Great execution there. No real recourse on the other side of the map. Lucid will pick up a Gromp for the trouble. That's not really much of a consolation prize. Can't really set up a dive on a clear under tower when he has exhaust, especially as he did reset and TP back in with full health.
Really does make you think that if this was a Nico, maybe things would be having a better time down here. But still, let's see whether this mid-game is going to be able to, you know, save Beryl as far as his decision-making is concerned with this Alistar, as he will be able to get a lot done. Of course, you're very tanky, you play that front line, things like that. As
it makes you wonder if he had 7 more armor.
Yeah, that's a really good point, as Emperor's Divide is just going to sweep through Showmaker as he does rebind his soul. Vikla now just kind of putting that ult on cooldown, though, trades it for a little bit of Showmaker's health bar. I don't think Showmaker's going to be too worried about it. Teleport back in here from Kellen, get him back to lane. As almost everyone with all their summoners back up again. Cleanse almost done there for Aiming. And Showmaker almost done as far as his health bar. It's a little bit worrying here as Shu doing a bit of damage here, despite everything. And Raptor wrapping around. Oh no. Shu is going to see the Xin Zhao coming in as there's the equalizer, but it's a great exhaust to make sure that Shu's probably going to have to use his flash. There it is, Wind becomes lightning. Some more needlework is going to come on through there, and in fact wasn't even necessary as Clear locks down another one. BNK just really looking good everywhere.
And the exhaust value is so big there, because I think Shu actually could have turned that around onto the Gwen if not for the exhaust, but that limiting the effect, that impact of his damage really just shut him down. BNK FEARX getting some strong early momentum here.
Yeah, looking real good. It's going to be Dragon number 1 though. See whether Lucid can lock that one down as Kellen is moving over here. Looks like it is just going to be DK who will be able to collect this. Do have Grubs coming up in under a minute. And so it might be, you know, the potential double Dragon angle. Very cool. I liked that conversation that we had over the last couple of days. DK might be able to use Dragons as a bit of a win condition, but I don't know whether that's going to be enough because they said a clash of tempo vibes. Let me tell you, BNK has all of them right now. They are all over the place. You can basically see it. If there was a tempo vibes meter, it would be all blue.
Yeah, yeah.
Or all yellow, depending on whether we're going to go team colors or, you know, what side of the rift they're on.
Still haven't implemented that yet. You know, we've been pitching it.
I think that it might be ready for Worlds. I think it might be ready for Worlds.
That's the hope.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's one of the big priorities. You know, I think you talk about what was implemented in seen a 5-star.
Yeah, Arctic Assault does come on through there. Permafrost will come down, but Rom just going to give him the door. Showmaker not able to come over in time, but they do get full vision control in this river.
Yeah, as I was saying, you talk about the big changes to competitive League of Legends that have really made it better. Second place Fearless Draft, first place Tempo vibes.
Oh yeah.
100%.
That's how it works. As BNK should be able to get their first objective feat of strength here by taking a couple of grubs. DK used that vision control that they had just to steal one of them away. And will now back off. Showmaker looks for a bit of a knock-up onto Vikla, doesn't quite find it. Still just clearing out the wave and has actually moved into a lead when it comes to the CS. Certainly good news here because he was falling a little bit far behind earlier on. Has now picked up a couple of items, does have his boots too, and he's feeling a whole bunch better there in mid. Showmaker was actually looking for a bit of an angle towards Clear here, but Clear heads up. Not going to be overextending into the Rumble.
Yeah, a little hard to punish the Gwen. Ultimately, Dplus aren't in that bad of a condition in terms of the gold, not too far behind, but I just think going to struggle when it comes to setting up some of these fights. That's some big burst from the Lucian there onto aiming.
Yeah. Oh, Cannon just going to go wide. Showmaker not able to get it. Vikla good zoning. She will be able to take a cannon, so at least we get one back over there. -1, so those still in chat if we could. Thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate your work. That's all right. Aiming and barrel, pushing forward. Just trying to deny any sort of reset that is coming on through here. Is nice knock up there from Showmaker. Does still have his teleport, so does Vikla. Double flashes in that mid lane as well. In fact, almost everything back up and available outside of Shiu. He does not have his flash. No exhaust there for Clear either. As Raptor is sweeping his way up towards this Rift Scuttler. Blue's just going to immediately come over, try and bully him out here. There's a nice knock-up. Permafrost comes in as Showmaker might be able to get enough damage as the Crescent Guard does come on through. Wind becomes lightning. It's a lot of damage onto Showmaker, and he just cleans it up. Vikla looks for the angle. The flash out from Showmaker gets him over the wall, and now Clear could be in trouble as well. The Permafrost comes down. The Harpoons connect, and Shiu picks one up, and DK right back in it.
Couple of mistakes there from BNK FEARX. Dplus swift to punish. The confidence from Lucid to go in. Has the follow-up from his mid lane. And Raptor, that entire play could have been negated from a flash over the wall.
Oh man.
We're now in trouble.
Yeah, there is no ulti here. That's a great knock-up from Showmaker. Not able to get quite enough damage down, but man, Showmaker really is finding some form again.
Yeah.
As we're getting further through this round robin, man, this is impressive stuff.
He did everything he needed to in that play to find Raptor. And here's the thing, I think Raptor overconfident here. If he just flashes over the wall, I think this play a lot easier to redeem. But he goes aggressive on a Showmaker. He's like, look, we can make this work. Clear's going to be here soon. He dies so quickly, though. And then Vikla, not only does he ult not connect, but he then flashes to try and look for the follow-up play. He doesn't get anything. Clear now just gets targeted immediately by Shiwu and Lucid, and it just ends up falling apart quite quickly.
Yeah, the Rumble well and truly online now. As you can see, it's only a little bit in the lead when it comes to the gold, because of course the extra kill gold going over to Clear earlier on in the game, but still feeling real good and does have that Leandri's now completed. I think the Rumble not going to be hurting for damage, not in this game. Heartsteel now done for Lucid as well, who has been getting everything done that he needs to on this Sejuani. Okay, now we're heading into the mid-game with everyone completely tied up. It's going to be an honest game of League of Legends. As Diablo coming on over, trying to get a little bit of damage onto Beryl, who's happy to soak some culling.
Oh, Eamon took a lot of damage there, though. Dragon spawning soon. Let's fight over control of vision here.
Yeah. Double Dragon on the line. Feats of Strength completely tied up on both sides as well, which is kind of cool. Whoever gets this next Drake will have a decent advantage. A Showmaker going to be able to pick up that cannon at least. Also clears up that little pesky minion that was waiting. As Kellen is just making sure that there's no access to this river. Beryl just going to move in though. Piercing Arrow does come down. And Raptor was on vision there, as we could see. Control Ward spotted him out. Oh, there was also that cheeky ward inside the Dragon's Head as well. As now Clear going aggressive onto Shiu. Gets inside the mist, but I don't know whether he wants to be here. Might have to flash and does indeed do so. He's got teleport though, Clear does not. So as far as his dragon fight is concerned, the Gwen's power level not really going to be playing too much of a part. Still, BNK have started it up. Beryl and Aiming moving in. We do have a Sejuani on her way. The ulti from Kellen goes completely wide though, and Lucid just walks on over. Beryl manages to pick it up because he just collects himself a smite. Now the equalizer is cooking all of them. Still, they're able to get themselves out. Orcs, you've got to pay attention, man. My God, the amount of Chemtech souls we've had has been disgusting.
I'm sorry, I was focused on the fight. Now looking to pressure this bot lane tower, and BNK FEARX not really able to step up. Considering that trade, Clear got on the top side, really not working out for them in the dragon fight. Dplus will get some plates in the mid lane though. She'll make it trying to find Clear, but doesn't really get anything for it.
And I have to say, do you know what it is? Oh my God, I've just figured it out. What? Do you know how DK can play against the flow of the tempo vibes?
How?
Because they have salmon-colored shirts.
Oh, there you go.
What do salmons do? They swim upstream, Orcs. That's what they do. Yeah, that's precisely what is happening here. Look at that salmon. Look at him go.
I can't believe he got that.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah,
and honestly, I think, so the play that came out was Clear went for the heavy trade in Shiwu because he's like, look, enemy top lane has TP advantage. If I chunk him out, we can do Dragon before he can get there. And then BNK FEARX were like, okay, we have to rush this. We have to do this before Rumble TPs. They weren't able to DPS it down in time and got challenged. And I think the play would have been okay if they'd been able to get it and get out. But the fact that Beryl got the Dragon, a little bit of a heartbreaker. And now Dplus, gold's even, but they have that edge in terms of dragons, which definitely gives them that advantage.
Yep, double dragon is a big deal.
And Eamon's starting to get some good poke down in the mid lane. Hard to contest mid priority against the Varus at this point of the game.
Yeah, one more turret and one more kill. One more objective here for DK as well. Those feats of strength will be coming on through. Can upgrade some shoes with double Swifties as well. Man, feats of strength going to feel pretty good here for DK. But Aiming currently just parked here in mid. Lucid looking to try and lock this one down, but does have Raptor hot on his heels. Inside track there for Showmaker though, does get control of that wave quite nicely.
Bringing the Gwen in.
Yeah, teleport to come on forward as Aiming gets slowed down. Winter's Bite will connect as Showmaker goes over the wall. Piercing Arrow does a lot of work as the culling comes down, and Beryl flashes on top of the Gwen, delivers her to the backline. That's almost a bad idea, but still Clear is going to get taken down. The equalizer, great position, still a flash out from Showmaker as Vikla tries to get on top of him, but he leaves Raptor to the wolves! Or the Raptors, I guess, because that's the pit that he's in. Still, they're all just, yeah, in the death chamber. That is 3 on the floor for BNK, and they are falling apart. These salmon, man, they are swimming!
They are swimming! And I think BNK FEARX not approaching the fight in the right way. It's just a mad dash for the backline, and it's not really working out, you know? I feel like their composition does so well. They're just seeing a target, stacking up the passive on the Braum, but instead Clear dives in so deep. no one can really follow up apart from Kelling. Like, Raptor and Vikla aren't doing anything for most of this fight. They're walking up, and eventually, by the time they get there, Clear's dead already. Kelling had to sacrifice all his cooldowns and his health. Vikla is still unable to do anything. This, at no point did this feel like a 5v5 for BNK FEARX, whereas Dplus just kind of retreated, played around the carry, and did what they needed to do. It was a lot more straightforward for them, and I think BNK FEARX got a little bit bloodthirsty, which we shouldn't really be surprised by.
No, that's pretty Rise Group. That's pretty culturally relevant.
Very cultural, yeah.
I think that's completely fine.
Very them. Very just, they've been a very fast-paced team, win early or lose early.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I think the most important thing all the time is to just be true to yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And that's precisely what they are doing. And being true to yourself as BNK is losing to DK and beating Pro. That's what they're doing. That's looking like what this week could be if they don't manage to win this game. As of course, it is a best of 3, a chance to bounce back, of course. I do have to say, with how this draft was orchestrated, with the early game, things like this, BNK had every opportunity to put themselves in a great winning position. And DK have kind of just snatched that away.
Yeah. Still chances, still an opportunity, but definitely need to rethink how they're approaching some of these fights, I would say.
Yeah, I think this has a lot more to do with how it's being played out rather than the position they're in right now. As the culling onto aiming, Lucid just picks that one up. And what I was going to say is that they do have, like, Braum Shield against the culling in 2 different ways. With the Frost Armor that Sejuani has, can basically eat it for free. And then Beryl just ults.
Yeah.
And eats it. It's like a quadra-sided door.
They feel so tanky right now. Lucid feels extremely bulky. We've had so many Sundered Sky junglers who are very hard to kill because they get that healing back. It's just an honest, I am very tanky jungler right now.
Yeah, well, Emperor's Divide going to come on through there, and Showmaker just gets himself out of the way as Beryl looks for that trample stun. Kellen holds the door, but can he keep himself alive? The answer is yes, but he leaves his 80 carry for the Wolves. Aiming picks up the kill, but now he's in trouble. The headbutt, the heroism here from Beryl is not enough to save Aiming, who is well and truly in the wrong spot. 1 for 1 as both 80 carries lying on the floor. Vikla now moving up, but they leave Showmaker in this bottom lane. And he might be able to take this turret. Let's just see. Feats of Strength already over to DK as they did lock down that kill. And that's a teleport in. Man, they really want to kill Showmaker. They have wanted to kill him for a very long time. Vikla doesn't have ult. Kellen's going to come on over and try and lock this guy down. Maybe they could get it. The answer is yes. But still, that is a lot invested to take down this Yone.
I think it's weird, though. They got a big shutdown in terms of gold. They should be able to get the dragon off the back of this. So a nice TP from Kellen cleans up the play. Clear should be able to clear this wave, and Diablo's gonna be back on the map, able to make his way over. Lucid's hanging around, though. If they get a steal here, this would be an absolute travesty.
Well, Rift Herald is just gonna have a swim, as we can see here. Shia moving on over, but Diablo gets on top of him. Aiming has turned back up. Flash out from Shia, but the flash over from Diablo. It's almost suicidal, but I think it may just work. The headbutt, the pulverize onto 4, but there's no one there to do damage. And DK, they say if you guys can throw a lead, so can we.
This is what we need to do. Get the Braum passive down and just go in. The Lucian leads the charge. It's a little bit scrappy, it's a little bit messy, but that's Rise Group. They're going to get the dragon in a big influx of gold, and BNK FEARX are back in control.
Once again, the tempo vibes are swinging around like a metronome. As we see the start of this, it looked like it was going relatively well, right? Kellen completely pushed out, Diablo exhausted and destroyed. But then this flash from Aiming just puts him into a place where he was not going to live.
Yeah, Clay finds a great flank angle, and they punish. But this TP, you know, knowing that there was no flash in Showmaker, no ult, able to chase him down and get the concussive blows on him, it kind of just ends up working out from here because it's such a big loss of power that Yone got. And then here, the fact that Diablo saved his flash from the last fight, able to go in, the Braum follows in, they all move up, Aiming has to back off, he's super low, and then once you get stuck in the middle of this composition, you ain't leaving. Oh no, the passive stacks up and you're just not able to leave, and there is the 4,000 assists. And that is the sort of fight you want to get the 4,000 assists.
Absolutely.
A hectic one like that.
Sometimes, you know, you get like one kill and then you're aced or something like that, and then you get the very sad milestone come up. This, thankfully, is not one of those. This is BNK finding their way back into this game.
Leapt in at 20% HP on top of his AD carry who just flashed in.
Yeah,
so that's what we want to see.
That's the kind of play we're looking for. Is Lucid just starting this up?
Oh, yeah, I mean, this is the Rise Group special. They will get Victor's TP at a minimum. Let's see how far they're willing to go, though. Oh, no.
Oh, dear. Clear could be in a lot of trouble as the exhaust does come down. Pulverize connects onto Clear, but you can see Shiva is dead, and he gets it in the 1v4. Finally, he does go down, but a 1-for-1, that's not what DK were looking for, because Vickler is just taking an inner turret here on this top side of the map, and DK get nothing but the scraps.
I hate to say it, Max. I hate to say it.
Oh, the Salmon have run out of energy, I think.
It's Red Side Rumble.
Oh, no! Oh, yeah. No, yeah.
But yeah, Clear making a clutch play there. The exhaust coming up huge, and then Vickler holds his nerf, doesn't TP. He gets that tower in the side lane. It all works out super favorably. And they think they found a pick here onto this Gwen, but just able to do so much damage and landing this final ult and getting on top of the Rumble. Super clutch there. And the fact that all the rest of the team had to be pulled away from the Arakan to respond to that. So, yeah, really nicely played. And BNK FEARX just getting kind of dub after dub on the back of these plays in a much better position, especially considering how tumultuous some of the early mid-game had been here.
Oh, yeah. Aiming finally does get that transformation on his Mirror Mana. So that is going to be good news here for DK, as Lucid continuing to look for their angles. Aiming collects the blue buff. And Vickler making his way over. Does have the Scryer's Bloom to help them find some of the members of BNK, as Beryl tanking some damage. He is Azir, so he's not entirely too worried. Need to see a little bit more from Showmaker as this series goes on, I think. As he has been either backing or sort of caught out of position in the last couple of fights. Before that, he was finding some great ult angles, finding ways to isolate targets. He could be the one that they look for the angle towards. As you can see, that is what BNK are thinking about. That's right, Diablo dashing forward. Don't know about that one. Chains of Corruption go wide, though. The Equalizer not really doing too much, as Diablo with the culling. Gonna soften up this stake. Bit of a tenderizer there.
The thing is, he has red buff, so he's going to sustain up, but he just got two massive ults from Dplus on the back of that play, just trusting his mechanics. No cleanse, just outplays.
Well, there's the knock-up onto Callan, and he's just exploded. When Showmaker does decide to do stuff, it looks real good.
Yeah, I was talking so positively. I'm like, oh, BNK FEARX in a great position. Their support gets exploded.
Oh, Vickler finds the flash onto two of them. Great headbutt to try and taxi Beryl out, but he's so incredibly low. That's a brilliant Zhonya's there from Vickler to avoid the Glacial Prison, and Lucid has to flash to get himself out of the way once again. Clear is fighting a difficult fight. Will be able to take one, but Shiu this time is going to punish him. And Diablo looking to try and take another one down, as Shiu in no man's land. And Showmaker going to get flashed on there by Raptor. Does have to flash himself away, and it's only Showmaker left standing. DK in turmoil right now.
Considering how this fight started with Kellen getting exploded, BNK FEARX finding so much out of it, and I think the fact that they didn't have the Equalizer, didn't have the ult from the Varus, and also, you gotta bear in mind, Showmaker committed his ult for the pick onto the Braum. A lot of tools weren't available for Dplus. I think this is why BNK FEARX had the confidence to go for this play. So much had been budgeted to get Dplus in this position. Beryl was already so low, and he's still level 10. He still has the rank 1 ultimate. The damage reduction isn't actually that significant. Even the heal doesn't save him. It does get scrappy from here, though. Clear dives onto aiming. Even with the flashing, he's just having a nightmare scenario into this Gwen.
Yeah, he's also like walking into us. I need to do damage inside the circle, but then you're in melee range. Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh, they are starting this.
Okay.
FEARX will find it, but what's the health?
Beryl looking for a bit of an angle as the Equalizer goes down there as well. Vickler diving towards Shiu, but he may have dove too far as Showmaker snaps himself back. Mid laner for support, though. Decent trade here for DK.
There's no
as Raptor
here.
And Kellen looking for an angle. Teleport back available here for Shiu as well, who can recharge that health bar, aiming with the cleanse, but still going to get slowed down. Crescent Guard, that allows DK to disengage. And there is a teleport back in. Clear once again closing the gap to exhaust down onto Showmaker, and Clear is just a man possessed in this game. This guy is a monster. Why the hell did you pick the Rumble and not the Gwen?
Clear is just playing so well, and honestly, the value he's gotten from the exhaust, it feels like he's limit testing with it. He'll dive into 3 or 4 people, pick the highest damage target, shut him down with the exhaust, and just survive on blinking health bar to make the play. He's getting so much value from it. There was Showmaker, and it allowed him to make the play happen, when it honestly seemed like a bit of a suicide mission.
Yeah.
You can see it come out here. So, great response here from Diablo. Beryl looks for him, able to dodge away from the follow-up there after Sejuani ult with the Rumble ult on top. Again, big budget. They do find the Azir, but they trade the support, and then it looks scary here because the clap starts to come in. The TP's there. But he engages into 4 and just says, okay, exhaust the Yone, I'll live this initial engage, barely.
Oh, the amount of needlework value he got as well was absolutely revolting.
Yeah, and you know what I'm glad to see? I'm glad to see an actual, not a Roa Gwen, you know, the Rift Maker, getting the healing in, getting a lot of sustain from that as well. Second Dragon going to be picked up from BNK FEARX here, and now a substantial lead. They're just going to go straight towards Sadaka, and Dplus are nowhere near right now to contesting this.
That's 3 objectives in a row picked up here for BNK. Baron power play not exactly massive, but they already had a 5,000 gold lead. This is pretty huge. This game has very quickly slipped away from DK. They came up to a waterfall, and it wasn't one of the ones that the Salmon can actually get up, unfortunately. And so they were left adrift. And the tempo vibes has swallowed them whole. BNK holding onto theirs gorgeously. That early game was really nice. A few hiccups, but as long as you can right the ship, still looking great. Aiming does have an edge of night, but they're on the edge of defeat right now more than anything else. I don't know whether that item is going to be saving them anytime soon, especially with Diablo sitting on 3 items now complete for this Lucian. It's not a back massage anymore. He's going to be doing a lot of work. Still, this is the Rise group. This is where culture happens, and we can experience the unexpected. Let's see whether the unexpected can happen.
Never can count a team out, and it goes both ways, you know?
Yes.
You've always got to watch out for these teams in a winning position, because things can always get a little bit scrappy, a little bit crazy, a little bit goofy, but right now, in a good position. There's a lot of engage on Dplus. It's the zoning.
Sometimes you want to press R, and guess what? Kellen pressed R. It's okay, Raptor tanking up the turret for a very long time. Kellen there as well. He just gives it the door, and Diablo does eventually take that one down. Still, Showmaker took the outer on top side. Not able to get this inner turret, though. If he had been able to get that, maybe it's an okay trade.
You know, this is what I'm talking about. There was no need to really do that.
Yeah.
The cannon minion was killing the tower.
You would
Another wave was going to
It's art, okay? Sometimes you just don't comprehend. It's not about, you know, whether it was good per se.
Yeah.
There's a lot more that goes to it.
Look, all we can say is that it happened.
It did. It did. Showmaker does at least have 3 items now. As we can see, he's the one with a little bit of an advantage as far as the item value is concerned. Still, it is a 500 gold lead for Vikla, so probably sitting on a little bit to spend. Pocket money, perhaps. But no more Baron left here for BNK. Lucid wanting to find a little bit of an angle, but instead decides that he is just going to go back home.
I think one thing is that we're still a long way away from Soul. It's a Chemtech Soul, not the most impactful. So I feel like that does alleviate some of the pressure for Dplus in terms of having to rapidly worry about, oh no, they're going to have, you know, like a Hextech Soul soon. They do have a bit of time in that regard, but... And I also think that as much as I favor how BNK FEARX's composition functions in these 5v5s, there's always just the Showmaker ults on the right person, blows them up, we win the game angle. That is always a possibility, so I think there's resounding hope in this game. The Baron up in 2 minutes, I think, is going to be where they want to get a good look in, and if we can get some vision over there...
Might be the angle. I think clear is definitely the biggest problem, though, in this game. I know there is a massive Lucian. He is 2 levels ahead of Aiming, who still hasn't hit level 15 yet. Not even off that wave, man. He's nowhere even close. That is,
yeah,
that amount of experience advantage is
top lane
obscene.
Difference. I mean, the Anakin has made such a big difference, but if you look, they had like 20 petals before they got it. They're now at 30. I think that made a big difference. But Clear, level 17, he's super strong. Vikla about to hit 17. To be fair, Showmaker's pretty close in the mid lane department. But yeah, the only one making a big difference.
Thankfully, Shiu does hit level 16. 16, of course, the most important. So that Equalizer is going to get charged up. Showmaker just unbinds the soul, clears out some vision. As Raptor is on a ward. Not going to get headbutted back, that's on cooldown. When becomes lightning, is Raptor thinking about going back in again?
I like how he gives a little love tap in return. He's like, yeah.
He's like, I can go in. Like, you wouldn't. And yes, they wouldn't. Vikla coming on over. Man, BNK, this is like one of the slowest late games I have seen them play in a very long time. They are really making sure they're dotting T's and crossing I's.
I wonder who it is. I wonder who's saying, like, because surely I feel like the vibe is they're like, we should just dive the tower now. And someone must be going, guys, maybe we shouldn't. And, you know,
that has been a voice that's been missing.
Maybe it's their conscience, you know, on their shoulder.
Yep.
Maybe that coach has just drilled into them enough. I don't know, but it's for now. I think it's a good thing because they have objectives coming up soon that they can play for instead.
And that's what they're looking for. 16 seconds on the Baron. And there is soul point available for either team if they would like to head down there towards the Drake. And that is what Diablo's going to do. Should be able to lock this one down without too much contest. In fact, there's going to be 0 contest.
Yep. I mean,
if they're going to go for anything, it's going to be this Baron.
I don't think it's like a big concern when it's third Dragon, but I feel like sometimes teams get really flustered when Dragon and like Baron are up at the same time and they heavily lean one side. I do think BNK FEARX have so much control they can kind of do this, but just setting the 80 carry down, pick up the Dragon, maintain control around Baron, 100% the correct move. And now they've secured that. They can move up here. Clear might be in trouble though.
Yeah, there's the knock-up, connects onto the Gwen as the exhaust is going to be put on cooldown. That could be a big deal, and in fact, he's just dead. Lucid collects it just as the snapback was coming on through. That is a huge pickup here for DK.
And Clear just used teleport, so he's off the map for a long time. Dplus, this is that call for Baron. Beryl's trying to find a flank angle. He is spotted. Yeah. Baron HP is starting to drop quick.
Yeah, Diablo's health bar as well, starting to drop at the same time. There are mega cones for days here for Beryl to try and get himself back in, as there is the flash to try and lock down Shiu. Can he get the equalizer down? The answer is no, but the Baron just goes over to DK. They're happy to collect that. Now 4 versus 4 on the Rift. Purple buffs secured. And I love that. Use Shiu and manage to get yourself a Baron against the flow of play. Headbutt back from the Pigeon is okay. That's a decent amount of damage to come on through there. On to Raptor as aiming gets himself into a better position, but the cow's still going to go down. I think if Lucid can get himself out, it might be all right, but he does not make it, and that is a double for Diablo. I could have sworn the DK might have been able to make their way out of there, but instead, it's a great wraparound here for Raptor to make sure that they take away 2 of these Barons.
Honestly, it was a scary play for BNK FEARX because they were trying to stop them from escaping. Someone had to lead the charge, and I thought they might just get exploded, you know, with Vikla going in early, with Raptor going in early, but they managed it pretty well. The Sterex from Raptor coming in clutch. They take away a lot of Barons, and
Yeah, trying to get some damage onto Raptor here, but it looks like it will be this inhibitor to go down. Equalizer coming on through there as Clear once again back in the fray. And Shiu could just be dead here. Raptor almost destroyed his aiming, not going to be able to cleanse that. That is just death. And with this inhibitor going down as well, it's only Showmaker and Beryl left alive, desperately trying to defend their base. It's almost a negative 2,000 gold Rebel Baron power play. Oh, these salmon just cannot get anywhere near up this waterfall as BNK are going to take away the second inhib and looking to finish off this first game against Dplus here. The Pulverize not going to connect there. Onto Vikla, finds him, goes golden, and down goes Showmaker. They collect their target. There's the culling as well, and oh my goodness, BNK, such dominance here in the early game. We'll skip the bit in the middle, and that late game was just beautiful. Man, don't give Clear Gwen.
Yeah, I mean, Clear had a fantastic game on the Gwen. So much confidence in some of these fights. Definitely a little bit of figuring it out, because I think the team, there were some mishaps, but overall, a lot more control.